chat. So I hope everybody's doing fairly well as we can be with, 3 days of the week, yesterday, today, and tomorrow. I'm hoping that you guys are liking the changes that I'm making to the channel, the little improvements and additions that I'm coming up with. I have a few more things in store. I'm trying to really channel for my channel, okay? But channel this time and energy while I have like a YouTube bug right now, so I really want to get everything fulfilled for the channel that I've been putting off while I have it sizzling in my spirit. But like everybody else, I've been dealing with a bit of, I'm not going to say boredom because I've been getting some stuff done, but I'm looking for all the new shows. And of course, my favorite platform, Twitter, everybody was talking about Little Fires Everywhere. Every time. Like, luckily, I didn't see any spoilers, but, like, it was a lot of chatter about it on the CL. And I didn't even have Hulu. I got Hulu for this show because I was having, like, FOMO. I'm not about to keep missing out because I don't have this Hulu shit. So let me just go ahead and sign up and get it and call it a day. So I wanted to do, because there was so much talk around the show, I wanted to take a little bit of my time and yours to talk about some of like the maybe top 5 messages or themes, whatever you want to call them, that we can take away from that show and that I feel like are really important, and they damn near life lessons. Okay, I felt like there were some really good. The writing was impeccable. Writing was amazing, and there were just some really good teachable like moments. And so I wanted to kind of, talk about some of those while also like highlighting some of the little nuances that I noticed throughout the show and connecting with you all on it, because again, it was the key. And I'm getting ready. I just started Big Little Lies. I don't know if I'll do a piece on them because I see it's 2 seasons, which I'm really excited about. And I'm like episode 5-ish, so I'm excited to see where that goes. So, message number 1 to take from Little Fires Everywhere. Don't let people tell you who to be. And we saw a lot of this throughout that series when it comes to either Elena trying to mold all of her children, specifically Izzy. But what we ended up seeing in the end is that like she had little things that she wanted to see out of each of her kids. And where do we think that she got this from? We saw how she interacted with her mother. We saw how Elena's own mother was like, the type of person you are, where you come from, what you have, your status, you can't get an abortion just because you want to get an abortion. And so for me, I felt like that was like a highlight of a moment to pay attention to, because it's like at one point or another, like, yes, we could tell that Elena has always been like a type A, like wants to be with grades, has this like, this whole American dream like set out for herself. But at one point or another, she was a little bit more flexible and spontaneous, and she had like a little bit more passion and spice in her, and we can see that her mama like simmered that shit right on the fuck down. So I felt like that was a really good example, because throughout the whole thing, we constantly saw Elena trying to force her vision of who Izzy should be onto her. She didn't like the fact that, she could tell that maybe she liked girls, or the way that she dressed, or the fact that, she couldn't even call that girl by her nickname. The rest of them got nicknames. Moody, Trent, but she don't want to call her Izzy. Like, come on, man. That was just it was very clear that it's hard enough to be yourself without the people closest to you not validating it. Like, we all want to be validated and accepted by our parents, our caretakers. Most of us grow up wanting that, and then usually when you don't get it, you reach a point where you don't want it anymore. But there's not a kid on this earth who didn't get that from a parent who didn't at one point want it. So I think that it was really cool of Moody to validate Izzy at the dance and just tell her that who she was okay. And I think that's why the relationship between between Mia and Izzy was so special. Like, where it's kind of like, I see why y'all really bad, because y'all like one and the same. And Izzy really desperately needed somebody who would just understand her and tell her that who she was as a person was okay. And that's like even outside of the whole being gay thing. But just how she chose to dress, what she chose to like and do and act, like she needed that to be validated. While I also appreciate Mia being able to check Izzy too. But I'm gonna talk about that in another segment. But one of my favorite quotes, which kind of connects to a concept that I often teach with clients, was we all have parts that scare us, parts that we're afraid to look at, parts that we run from because we are scared to look at them, but we can't not look and we can't not say it. I think that the concept that I usually work with clients is like we have a light and a shadow. And most people hear shadow and they think it's like the bad parts of you, right? But usually the shadow isn't compromised of our bad parts. It's compromised of the parts of us that people have told us were bad, told us that we're wrong. Not necessarily that they are, but the parts of us that usually made somebody else uncomfortable, and they told us to simmer that shit down or to not show it because it didn't fit into what they felt like, you know, we should be or what we should represent. And we listen to them. And we can't do that because who the fuck are they to tell us who to be? Alright? So that was like one of my favorite parts, is just to know that we all have a life. And at the end of this life, you gotta be happy with who you are. So if you constantly like trying to adapt to what other people tell you to be, then who has to live that shitty life? You gotta live it, you know? Same thing with Trip trying to teach Moody how to get the girls, trying to say that Moody wasn't a type. Let me tell you something, but there is a type for Moody. You know, he don't see that in high school, but that's the beauty in like being in this world with all the different types of people. Like there's somebody who's gonna want Moody just for who he is. It wasn't Pearl, but it's somebody out there. And so that's really more so what we need to teach, is like just because you don't fall into this category of like being the type to attract or get these, you know, romantic interests does not mean that there is not somebody out there for you, versus saying like Trip, oh, you need to do this, you need to act like you don't give a damn. That's not him. You know, it works. Some of them little guy code things that the cool guys try to say, it works for them because of who they are, because like their whole persona. But if you try to take that same ingredient and apply it to a man who that ain't his natural flow, it's gonna look stupid. Okay? So that was message one. Don't let people tell you who to be. Live your truth. Okay? So the second one, the grass ain't always greener on the other side. We saw a lot of comparison, right? So we have Pearl, who sees her mother, doesn't really understand why she is the way that she is. And then we have Izzy, who sees Elena, who we already know don't really like her like that because she can't seem to fully embrace and accept Izzy for who she is. And so we see a lot of like shifts in the dynamic throughout the series of Pearl saying she really want a mom like Elena, Izzy saying she really want a mom like Mia, but both of them got their problems. So it's like when you are looking in from the other side, it always looks more appealing, you know. And so I also think that another way that applies is Elena pretty much like spent her whole life going through these periods of like second guessing that shit. We saw it when she ran out to get the pacifier and picked up some dick while she was out, or almost, yeah, I'm not gonna say it. She almost picked up some dick while she was out. And pretty much confessed like at a point felt like her life wasn't what she wanted it to be. She tried to change that before she left Homeboy, but you can see, even you fast forward 15 years later, she went out and did the same thing, damn near. You know, she might have used a different cover story, but it was pretty much the same thing. Because she tried to sequester that man, you know, trying to cheat on her husband. But pretty much knowing that, like, there are things that she agreed to, that she allowed to happen, that transpired throughout her life, that put her in a place where she don't know if this is it. She sees that there could have been another option available to her. And I think she's a part of her would always envy that. Like, the what if. What if I had stayed in Paris and said to hell with this beauty of a dream that I thought I had. Number 3. When people communicate their limits to you, you need to believe them. Where did I get that from? The fact that Elena told that man, that she did not want to have another baby. She told her mama she did not want to have another baby. And she knew that she was already having a difficult time with 3 children, right? Oh, 3 centimeters, 4 centimeters difference in 3, says a man. Like, leave it to a man to say something like that when it comes to kids, okay? Because one of them can feel like 10 of them. So every time you add one, it feels like another 10 are there. So yeah, I think that it was really, it's a tough spot. Like, Elena's resentment is not totally her fault. And that's the place where I felt myself being empathetic for her. Like, yes, she needed to go to counseling and move past that resentment when she realized that, you know, it was affecting her relationship with Izzy. But I do see the fact that, like, she communicated this out loud that she didn't want to have another baby and nobody listens to her. And then they didn't realize, you know, we see this, like, what's one thing about resentment? If you don't deal with it, it's going to continue to come up. Look how old Izzy is, and there are still, like, we still saw Elena become completely unhinged when she had, like, this breaking point where she was saying stuff that, you know, no mother should ever say out loud, even if they think it, which is, it was hard. It's hard to be your mom, and I never wanted you in the first place. It's like the 2 worst things that you could ever say to a child that they will never forget. They may forgive you for it, but they ain't gonna forget it. Like, those are just words that you kind of have to think, you know. And even sometimes you feel guilty for thinking stuff that harshly, but I'm not a mom, and I even give moms permission to have those thoughts. Because I validate the fact that you could wake up and be like, damn, these kids get on my nerves. Why they here? Why did I do this? Because I've been around kids enough to know that they ain't no walk in the park, especially when you got to have them all the time. So I felt for Elena in that piece because, you know, if people would have listened to her, yes, you know, of course she does not regret her child in real life. You know, that's just stuff people say when they get frustrated. I can give her that. But when you don't honor your own limits and you comply with what everybody else says, that's a lack of boundaries. So, yes, she didn't hold her boundaries with this because she was, you know, again, forced to believe that she would look bad had that happened. But, I mean, didn't nobody need to know, okay? So, but, I mean, they did live in a small town, so had she gone to somebody's abortion clinic, it might have got out. But that's neither here nor there. It's a lot of ways that writing could have went. But I validate it. I validate the fact that, like, this is why you have to be a pro at honoring your own limits and being able to communicate them, because other people won't. And then who got to live with it? You got to live with it. But all I am going to say is, you know, in a perfect world, she would have got her some therapy to move past that resentment. But it's not just her fault, because you can see she resents her husband in a way for like, conning her, not necessarily conning her, but, you know, for them being back in the situation where she was pregnant again. Okay. Next one is, this was one of my favorites. Being nice and wanting something does not mean that you are entitled to it. Especially I see men, you know, have this feeling, because I'm a nice guy that you just supposed to want to be with me, and that's it. And a woman is, how dare she not want to be with me, and I feel like I meet all these accolades. We saw that Moody wanted Pearl the whole series, right? But what wasn't Pete, and that's because I watched it 2 times before I decided to do this video. What Pete was, Pearl was looking at Trip from day one. The first day, Moody bought her in that house and they was sitting there dinner. Pearl was sitting there looking at at Tripp with the googly eyes, okay? So she always had like that vibe to him. I think she just was being nice and Moody, and the whole holding hands thing was they just caught up in the moment. But they didn't even make it to kissing. You know what I mean? Like, they went to the little dance together. But let's be clear, Pearl was always into Tripp. And again, it's that whole bad boy thing. Like, Moody, it don't work. Like, still may not work for you now, but in the future, somebody gonna want his good ass, okay? He gonna have a nice job. He gonna be a gentleman, all that stuff. But that was, like, the best representation because that's when Izzy called him out. It was pretty much like, sir, she has a choice. And she don't have to want to be with you. And you can feel away, but you don't have to get past that. Another example of this is, Elena wanted to be liked by Mia so bad in the beginning. Like, it was just like, give it a rest. Now, Mia was being kind of rude and a little bit of a bitch to her, like, for no reason, when Elena was just being super friendly. But, again, it's that, I feel like that's a part of white privilege, where, like, white people feel like they nice to you or they're polite, on the surface, and that you're just supposed to want to engage with them just because they're polite. So nobody got to do that with you. And again, referring back to my situation with my job, like, people used to get upset with me because they felt like I walked in the door and wouldn't say hello or good morning. I don't like to talk to people in the morning. If you so hung up on it, say it and I'll speak back. But, like, yeah, just little petty stuff. Like, just because you here, you want to be nice, does not mean that I have to bow down to you and comply. Biggest thing is, like, you can do everything right and you can still miss out. Like, it doesn't mean that you weren't worthy or you weren't deserving. It just wasn't yours to have. Like, I even, a part of another piece that I'll connect with this is, like, when Mia told Isabel, pretty much that, like, even though you want to be completely different from these people and you want to see yourself that way, doesn't mean that, like, you don't get to be an exception just because you want to be, is the quote. And I felt like a few of them had those checking moments. Like, Isabel checked Moody because Moody thought he was speaking some real stuff about how the rich and the popular and the pretty people, they always win. And because he feel like he ain't, baby, you're still rich, okay? So Izzy was like, no, you acting just like them, just as entitled. And so Mia called Isabel out on the same stuff where it's like, yes, you want to be down with the movement, but baby, let's not forget where you come from. A part of you is this. So we see that a lot. Like, people want to think that they're just so different, but a part of you is still the same. Okay, so let's acknowledge that while you trying to help us out. Take care of your voids. All right, I feel like, based on what we grow up experiencing in life, sometimes it leaves us with spaces that we don't know how to fill. It leaves us with voids. It leaves us with parts in our emotional, spirit that feel like they are going unfulfilled. Because when you don't take care of those voids, or you don't at least acknowledge them, you start to act in ways or project in ways that don't always end up in the best circumstances. So, for example, let's just call a spade a spade. Mia had a void about how she had how she ended up having Pearl. In addition to feeling like somebody was going to take her baby. But pretty much, like, Mia has this secret. And she feels like she meets BB, and all of a sudden, if I can help BB, then it makes what I did okay. When really, she needed to get to a place where she had accepted that what she did was okay, without sitting there and opening somebody else's old wound and trauma. Now, I understand that she was trying to help her, and she didn't realize that the shit was going to be as messy as it was, but not having the whole story and telling that girl, you could, look, we could find her. And then realizing that, okay, yes, this baby's in a better home, and then just feeling like, well, no, I need to justify what I did, so let me come in here and shake this shit up. Like, you can't try to use other people as projects to make yourself feel better, which is what we usually see. Like, again, when people have bad boundaries, they start looking to help and fix people in any way that they can, because that's how they get their fix of worthiness. Like, I'm worthy of whatever, I have, or I feel good about myself because I've done all this stuff for other people. But you got to feel good about yourself despite that. Not necessarily even just good about yourself, but good about your decisions, or move to a place of accepting those decisions. Again, another place where avoid. Elena cheating on her husband. When you missing outlets for your passion or your excitement, you start to go and try to fill them in ways that are not the best. So that shit could have ruined her marriage because she was looking to get some thrill when it's like, baby, you gotta go jump out of a plane. You better go have spontaneous sex with him that's not on a Saturday or a Wednesday to get that spark. But going out and, again, trying to ignore the fact that the void is even there is your first problem, because now you in denial. And then when it happened, when she was to cheat on her husband full throttle and, have sex with dude, then you're gonna feel bad. And then you're going to realize, oh, this was connected to the fact that, I feel like there's something lacking in my life or in my marriage. So, number 5. Secrets keep you sick. Okay? I understand that we all have a couple things that we don't want people to know about. And that may be, you may even be committed to taking to the grave. However, when those secrets, when you don't kind of address them or at least make peace with them, they, again, start to come out in unfortunate ways. Like, stuff that you haven't healed from, but you try to, keep a secret, you mess around and have, crazy dreams about it. Like, your subconscious starts to really kick in and, be present, because it's like, yeah, I know you got something back here that you don't want nobody to know. Let's think about it all the time. That's how the brain be doing stuff like that. Okay? So Mia really she just was never able to have a stable and good life. Wasn't able to give her that because she just couldn't be honest. And the reason why there is the phrase secrets keep you sick is because when you have to go around holding stuff in all the time, that results in a lot of anxiety. And what does that do? That worrying. You ever heard of worrying? You can worry yourself sick. It's the same thing. So you have to get to a place where you own your truth. And that's, again, another good message from this movie. Own it. Be okay with it. Even Pearl came to the decision that she didn't want to keep a secret from, the fact that she was dating Trent, because it would make her like a mother. And we saw how much the lying and the dishonesty really shifted that relationship. And I'm sure when Mia got to a place where she was going to be honest, but Elena kind of beat her to it. And when she got to a place where she was ready to open up, or that Pearl knew everything, imagine the weight that was off of her shoulders. So, don't be walking around in life. If you're going to go talk to a therapist about it, and sometimes that stuff don't come out. I forgot that it was something I was keeping a secret for, 3 years into therapy until I started having dreams about it. And I was like, well, I guess it's time for me to deal with that. Because that's one thing you don't want to do. You don't want to be in therapy and leave a stone unturned. Because it will catch up with you. Okay, so those are my top 5. I have a few honorable mentions, okay? Nobody wins in a power struggle. Saw a whole bunch of power struggles the whole movie. We got Izzy and Elena and Mia and Pearl, the mother-daughter, Lexi and Izzy. It was just so many power struggles where, and for anybody that isn't very clear on what that is, so Elena refusing to call Isabel by her nickname, power struggle. The whole blow up over the kids that she didn't want to wear. Elena could have just left the shoes alone. It's enough that Izzy agreed to be in the picture and was mad, but you want to make her put on the shoes too? Okay, I'm going to show you one. So that's pretty much all this. They just trying to one up each other. the whole series, and it made it pretty entertaining. But like at the end of the day, it was tit for tat. Nobody really got anything out of all of that, out of all those power shows. Another honorable mention, it pays to mind your business, as we saw. Like, had Elena and Mia, pretty much. Like, Elena was top tier. Like, had she just kind of left Mia where she was at, didn't call the police on her, like her husband said, like, you brought this lady into our life, which she did. But yeah, everybody just needed. It was a lot of like interest. Like that's how these stories get all intertwined because everybody started getting everybody else's business. Yeah, so I guess this would have been tied to one of my earlier points about taking care of your voice. Sometimes, like when you feel compelled again to like go out your way for somebody that you barely know, you have to ask yourself why. Like get in touch with your intentions because again, like sometimes we try to fix other people or deal with their stuff head on more than them or take more responsibility just because there is something motivating that. Now, usually, like, yeah, you say, oh, I'm just trying to be nice. But no, what is it really? Like, deep down. Because usually you think hard enough, you'll be able to come up with that reason. What you're truly getting out of doing this. And is it self-serving? Or is it because you actually want to help? Or because you actually care? Okay, well, that's it. That's all I got for today. I hope we connected over some of these things that came up. Because, again, it was a really good show. It had some really good writing, some really good moments. And it was just really, it's good drama. I love me some good drama. I love me some intertwined drama. That's why I'm excited about this Big Little Lies because it just seemed like, you know, everybody business. And I want to see who's going to die. Okay? So, yeah, I hope everybody has a great rest of your day. And stay safe, okay?